Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally kicking it underway. So, like I mentioned, first off, we're gonna have GS up against IGP Girl. And I'm pretty excited for the first game of the day, or rather, of the FSL circuit, in fact. And like I said, this is the Vietnam qualifiers. So, pretty excited to see what our first game of 2020 will bring us. This should be pretty interesting as well. So looks like we're gonna see Ross getting picked up. We do see the Alistair as well as the Quick Knight getting banned out. I mean, that is not really a surprise there. Just want to take out a little bit of the CC, and I think this is where we're gonna see. Obviously we're gonna see a little bit of the games, a little bit of a testing ground for both sides. Obviously GS and IGP Girl, I'm not too sure what we'll see out, because see a bottom getting picked up on the side of IGP Girl. So they follow up with the Violet as well. That's gonna throw the Slims over to GS. Undoubtedly a really good marksman at this point of time. You know, he has a decent stun, you know, a decent clear wave, a decent amount of burst as well, although the range slightly lacking as compared to the Violet. But you know, if he has a decent amount of support, and I think we're looking at a really good tank as well. Obviously bottom getting picked up. If they could have picked up the bottoms for the Slims, then that would have been the perfect scenario for them. But you can see they're trying to remove a lot of CC off the board, hence why they kind of ban out the Quick Knight as well as the Alistair. But we'll see how that one goes. So it looks like they're really contemplating on this Pura pick, and I'm not too, I wouldn't say not too bad of a pick. I just pretty, I would say pretty surprised to see getting picked up as a third hero, considering there are other heroes in the pickup. I'm not sure what the idea behind picking up the Pura early game kind of shows, but it is still a pretty decent pick. So we're gonna see the Quixie getting picked up. That's control into our second banning phase. So we're gonna see IGP ban out 2 heroes before it gets thrown back to GS as well for their final 2 picks. So obviously Murat getting removed off the board, pretty pesky to deal with. So can't really blame too much on them on wanting to ban that out. So it looks like we're gonna see the banning phase come out from the side of GS. They will have 2 bans, and then we're gonna see the side of IGP Go pick up for the ban as well. I think the Murat ban really makes a lot of sense. Like high amount of burst, something that isn't really the easiest to deal with. He has that temporal turbulence, you know, a decent amount of burst, can kind of just jump onto the backline as well. And you can see that they're trying to protect the Violet. So they're banning a lot of these heroes that can reach onto the backline, especially if you're talking about Violet. And they have a very decent front line and bottom. He has a decent 1 CC as well. So what they're trying to do is to make sure that the side of GS doesn't have too much of a dive. Although I wouldn't think that GS would be playing too aggressively and go for the Murat, because they already got the Murat. So that's kind of like a flex pick they play for. And I know this sounds weird, but I have seen, you know, players that go for a little bit of a support rush, not exactly support rush, but someone that kind of rotates around the map really quickly, just to kind of determine the momentum of the game. You know, try to get a couple of ganks in, especially down the mid. If they have a really good laning phase, especially for the side of GS, and they can get the Slims to kind of escalate way faster than the Violet, then that might be a little bit of trouble. Because remember, we are looking at a very high amount of CC lineup for the side of GS, whereas for the side of IGP goes, they just want to have a lot of damage. They're just counting on the Violet to hyper carry. That's what I'm thinking at this point in time. They haven't reviewed too much on the draft. I mean, if you look at it, they're just banning out a lot of these heroes that can kind of reach the backline, or rather has decent amount of burst, just to take off either the Violet or even the Quixie out. And I think, you know, GS still pretty, I wouldn't say in front in terms of the draft, but I like this Rust pick. You know, Rust is just one of my personal favorites. Obviously one of the early heroes to come with as well. And if you do see a really good Rust in game, you know, he's just so hard to deal with. Decent CC, high amount of burst. You know, like I said, decides the momentum of the game. And it looks like we're gonna see Enzo. Are they gonna lock in the ban? Not too sure about that. I think they're kind of contemplating it. There are actually other heroes that getting kind of banned as well. I was kind of half expecting a Liliana to get it picked up, but it looks like we might not see getting picked. So it looks like they're preparing to ban out a lot of these assassins, because, you know, obviously instead of IGP Girls, they've yet to pick up one assassin. So they're pretty much just taking out all the assassins available on the board. You can see they've really banned Quick now, they've banned Enzo as well. So yep, that's gonna be the Enzo getting banned out. Instant lock from Nakrov. Wow, okay. So IGP Girls, they definitely know what they are doing. They lock in the Nakrov. That's gonna be a decent amount of clear wave in the jungle. Whereas from the side of GS, they want to pick up the Valheim. How can I forget about Valheim? I'm not too sure about that though. That looks like a really greedy build, like a really greedy kind of draft. You know, they don't really have a front line per se. I mean, they have Arthur, you know, decent good frontliner with a stun, not too squishy as well. But if you look at the draft coming out from the side of IGP Girls, they do have the kit to kind of deal with this lineup. Like if you look at what GS is putting up on the table, they are basically trying to be really aggressive with the Rust, and then hopefully with the Slims and Valheim follow up the stuns and just try to just, you know, destroy with high amount of damage as well as CC. Whereas on the side of IGP Girls, they lock in the Omen, so that's going to be a lot of aerial control. In fact, in terms of aerial control wise, I kind of favor IGP Girls. They have the Quick C, they have the Nakrov, they also have the Omen, and I think in general with the Violet in the backline, I don't see too much of an issue for IGP Girls. So hopefully they will be able to deal with that. Yeah, so this is a really decent draft coming out from both sides. I do slightly lean towards IGP Girl. I think IGP Girl does have a little bit of that punch in their lineup. Like I said, you know, the bottom as well as having that Omen. The fact that they had that last pick is kind of like a cheese pick. Although scary ranks on the side of GS, you gotta put it that way.
Get ready.
Looks like we are about to go.
In 5 seconds.
So it looks like we're going to be seeing the Rust down the middle, the Arthur going to be up the top lane along with the Slims as well. We're going to see FSL a little bit up. I think IGP Girls were kind of thinking about the invade, but looks like they might not go for it. Mel taking a little bit of damage from the Omen as well. I think Omen will do pretty well against the Arthur. I think Arthur doesn't really have the kit. Nothing that Mel can really do, just to make sure that the Omen doesn't overpush and bully him lane. Although we do see a little bit of a contest down the bottom lane, hit trying to push against it. Ori gonna be cutting him off as well, and I'm not sure what's happening, but Ori's just standing still while Marshmallow tries to go a little bit back. Violet definitely trying to abuse that range right there, a little bit of a trade-off. They definitely do want that river vision coming up on the bot lane. That's gonna be secured. Rust coming down onto the middle as well. I'm excited to see how the Slims will fare down the bot lane, especially the fact that he's taking the smite, so he's gonna be, you know, obviously he's gonna be a jungler. You can see he's really got both buffs, so they have this hyper carry going in Lindan. Not gonna be landing that arrow right there, but down onto the top lane. Young going up against Arthur right here. Young hitting that level 4. And just dropped the ultimate down. Does he have enough damage? Mel down to a quarter of a HP. Young with that pull misses it. And that is gonna be Mel getting out just in the nick of time. That could have been huge for Young as well, if you consider the fact that it's a 1v1 lane. However, another team fight happening down the middle river. We're gonna see Ori getting pulled back once again by the Baldum. Trixie gonna get the first blood. No, in fact, it's Young rotating all the way from the bottom lane. They might get a double kill as well. Linda nearly going down. They must get the sleeps out of the way. But that's gonna be Gao picking up the second kill for the side of IGP Girls. Like I said, you know, in terms of area control, they just have too much on the plate for GS to deal with. Not exactly the best start that GS would have hoped for, but well played. The IGP Girls. The rotation coming up for Young as well, just in the nick of time to kind of add that oomph in that fight. So really well played coming up for IGP Girls. They are leading 2-0. Well, we're gonna be seeing that Ras clear up that middle lane just to stop that push coming in. The Abyssal Dragon getting secured by the side of IGP Girls as well. That's Ras getting pushed up as well. Look at the burst damage that this Trixie is putting on. And they have that knockoff, decent, highest amount of clear speed. I mean, no one can kind of argue that. And Young on the top lane, doing well by himself to kind of hold off the push against the Slims and other. I like this composition coming from IGP Girls. I did mention at the start of the draft that, you know, or rather at the end of the draft, that IGP Girls, in terms of aerial control, they have it. They have knockoff as well, so they have two ways to actually win the game, right? They can actually get the Violet to hyper carry in all these team fights, while the rest of the teammates are just, you know, laying down all those CCs as well as air control. Whereas they have that knockoff which can split push as well. So in a way, they are looking to be a very strong laning composition, as well as that late game combination. They can kind of have multiple variations to win. Although we do see that knockoff taking a little bit of damage from the turret. Arthur doing well to kind of hold off. Meanwhile, bottom lane kind of missed that kill out, but it looks like Balder will get picked up by Leia, who's playing the Valheim. They do have to respect the Valheim though. Look at that one stun going on to Gal. Russ kind of missed that punch. That we're gonna have a little bit of the reset. Violet there, just trying to clear up the lane, making sure that. But there we go, quick save with the ultimate. But here we go, Russ jumps onto the backline. They get a double kill, and on top of it, they don't lose anyone as well. Leia nearly going down there, but not enough, and that's gonna be the first turret of the game. Meanwhile, top lane, Young being really aggressive, does pick up his turret on the top side, and that's gonna mean Boots getting picked up by the Omen. So all in all, 1-for-1 trade, but you know, Omen can't go back now. We got Narcroft still trying to pick up the Rust. Maybe he can Rust with the pushback as well. Here comes the rest of the team. Slims, does he have that arrow? Yes, he does, and that's gonna land on Narcroft. That might be the kill that they need. Valheim coming up just in time, and there's nothing that this Balder can do but watch him go down. Meanwhile, top lane, another engagement going on. Arthur trying his best. By Trixie coming in to Omen's rescue. That's gonna be another trade-off. Meanwhile, mid lane and GS just capitalizing on that momentum. So although they didn't have the best of starts, I think GS just doing really well in all these individual pickoffs. And Leia starting to pop off right now. We can see the net worth 3.2k, or rather 3.3k as compared to Violet's 2.9k. And that's gonna be a lot of boost that GS kinda needed. As long as Leia can get to late game, I'm sure that this Valheim can hyper carry in some way as well. They do have sleep, so both sides playing that double kind of mini carry. Although Narcroft, I wouldn't consider him too much of a team fight. Maybe more of a split pusher. He does have decent amount of damage as well. So the only downside of Narcroft is that he's really squishy, and he's kind of like an all-in kind of hero. You either clear your wave quick enough, or you get caught out, and that's pretty much easy for you. But for now, it is 6 minutes and 42 seconds into the game. 5-3 in the favor of GS. Net worth pretty much the same, although we did see IGP Girls picking up that very first Abyssal Dragon. ultimates on standby for the side of GS. Jungle item again, hit by the Slims as well. Ori trying to go for the stun. Bowder right in front, gets caught up by the rest of his teammates, and here comes the ultimate, but not enough. Trixie trying to burn down that Ross. Meanwhile, that Knockoff trying to climb away from the rest of the teammates. Lean does get picked up, and that's gonna be trouble for the side of IGP Girls. That's gonna be Trixie getting taken down, or the Trixie getting taken out. And once again, a 3-man or rather a 4-man pickup for the side of GS. Oh my god, Violet, what are you doing there? Marshmallow, one more hit from the Valheim. And that's gonna be a team wipe coming in for the side of GS. Marshmallow just playing a little bit too greedily. Should have just given up that second tier tower. And this is go time for GS. I mean, they are making me bite my tongue right here. GS just popping off the late game, man. I mean, I don't expect too much of a resistance coming up from the side of IGP Girls. Valheim still at the front line. Look at that Young getting perma-stun. That's gonna be the Omen getting gold, or rather getting taken out. And at this point in time, GS just has total control of the game. I don't think that's much that IGP Girls can kind of do. I think if they didn't really lose that Violet in that side, it wouldn't have been too bad, but a team wipe here. They pick up the Abyssal Dragon, you know, that's gonna set up for the top wave. They've really cleared up the second turret, and this is what Knockoff can do now. The only thing he can do is kind of split push. You can see the Arthur really going down to the bot lane, and I don't really think he might be able to pick this one out. The ulti coming in, good dodge coming from the Knockoff. Meanwhile, top lane, 4-man push coming from GS, and look at that, Ras pushes them back. And that's gonna be Trixie getting taken out immediately. Omen doesn't even have enough HP to tank it up. Slims picks up that kill. And will they go for the tower? Yes, they can. I don't think there's anything that IGP Girls can do on the top side.
Tower has been destroyed.
And Knockoff has to be careful about positioning for the rest of GS. Are they going for the Dark Slayer? I'm not too sure. It's still early into the game. Don't think they have too much damage. I mean, Omen's coming up as well. If he can rotate pretty quickly, they might just catch them out. So you can see GS is setting up for the bait. Bowder just doing a little bit of scouting as well, making sure that Dark Slayer isn't started on. Slim's kind of missing his mark right there, but that is him zone out from the rest of his team. And this is it. Where is Bowder where he needs you? It's not there, and that is Pena somehow getting the Omen down. And suddenly it's a 4v4. Ras getting taken out. Violet with the burst damage. And look at that Valheim soaking up the damage coming from Trixie. And there's nothing that this Bowder can do. But Trixie might just get one more hit. The dust nearly picking up the Valheim there. Gets out in the nick of time. And buys them one more fight, and Violet just needs so much more time. Yes, she does have that burst damage, but Marshmallow is just so far behind in terms of net worth. And look at that, just because of that space being bought up and the fact that they clear top lane really quickly, GS just starts up the DS. They see the Arthur in mid lane, so that's kind of an indication that, you know, they might or might not be on DS. You can see the Omen already headed towards the Dark Slayer. However, with that, GS have complete control of the jungle right now. Omen has to be a little bit careful about his positioning. You can see Arthur going in right now. The ultimate might be able to get the stun down. And he doesn't. Yes, he does. Here we go. Trixie getting taken out instantly. GS just swamping the whole of IGP Girls. I don't think there's much they can do. Arthur once again with the stun. And Slims, the arrow is just going to go right through the both of them. Looks like he's going to go down the tower. Nice shoe coming out in the nick of time just to keep himself alive. You see Drake coming up as well just to push that lane down. And the stun coming out of Violet, and that's gonna be game 1. So really quick game 1 going the way of GS. Congratulations to GS right there. Even though they had a rough early game, I think they did really well to come back. And remember, this is a best of 3, so it's still early. I want to say IGP Girls can definitely do a lot better in that game. I think they had a couple of fights which they kind of rushed in, but fair play coming into the side of GS. You can see the items coming up. In fact, if you look at the stats right here, most of the damage being done by Valheim. I did mention that as long as Leia can get up in terms of items, especially attack speed, they can proc the passive a lot quicker, and this is where we see the side of GS take over. Although I gotta say, I was pretty surprised there, because you know, it looked like IGP Girls had a really good early game. I mean, 2-0, they picked up the Abyssal Dragon, they were kind of maintaining the momentum, and then suddenly one bad team fight and GS just completely took over the game. With that being said, congratulations GS, this is a best of 3, so I'm sure IGP Girls are looking to come back in game 2. But we'll go for a short little break, but when we are back, we'll bring you game 2 between IGP Girls and GS. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back with the second game, and it looks like it's gonna be GS on the red side, but we're gonna see IGP go switch over onto the blue side. Obviously, we saw in the first game GS didn't really have the best of early games, but nevertheless, they did really well to come back from that. You can see them, you know, making sure that Valheim gets really up to speed. So this time around, switching sides, I think IGP Go, they definitely do have the upper hand of the first, or rather the first draft, first pick. So hopefully they do a lot better this game. And you know, if we broke that first game down, I really want to say, as much as IGP Go didn't really make too much of a mistake, the only mistake they made was that first team fight. That very first team fight just gave GS so much that they needed to actually take over the game. I mean, they were 2-0 down. They lost their Abyssal Dragon to IGP Go, but IGP Go, they did really well to come back from that. So it looks like we are going into the second game. Alright, looks like we're gonna see a Varus getting picked up. Really good, I want to say really good mage in terms of the burst damage that she kind of offers, although I'm not too sure if that is kind of the first pick that you want to go for. But we'll see what they follow that pick up with. So obviously they're trying to get Varus to have that burst damage. You know, you should probably try to get that Bloody Fangs down, just to do that burst damage that they slightly need to have that momentum to fight. I want to see how they really use this Varus, but looks like over to the side of GS, once again they're banning out the Alistair as well as the Murad. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Murad getting banned out throughout the day. Like I said, he's a really pesky hero to do with, a decent amount of burst, not someone that you really wanna. It's not to say that there's no counter. There is still heroes that can kind of counter Murad, but you don't want to. I mean, why bother, right? Like, just take him off the board. He's insane amount of burst. You know, he's decent amount of mobility. And worst of all, his farming speed is just insane. So I can see why they kind of took him out. But it looks like we can see Vera as well as Yemnev getting picked up. I think Vera getting picked up is really good. I think Vera does well against Varus, especially when she tries to go in the close range and try to finish things off with the Serpent's Embrace, and obviously she has Venom as well, so she's a really close combat kind of hero, whereas Varus just counters the heck out of that. You know, the moment they come in, she's just gonna pop her ultimate, just gonna blow him up with the Infernal Bats. So I'm guessing this is what they kind of have in mind, and I think Vera just does really well. I think as long as Varus tries to get close range, or Vera tries to do is just drop the Infernal Bats, blow her up, and they should be good to go. On top of it, they pick up Nef as well, which is a tier tank. I mean, even after the update, they've nerfed him so many times, but he's still like an insane tank to have in your team. Never a bad tanker to have in your lineup. And previously we saw IGP Girls actually pick up, they actually picked up the bottom, and I want to say the bottom did really decently. We saw a couple of warp reasons that put GP out of position, but you can see like GP just, or rather IGP Girls had a lot of issues trying to follow up with that. GS just did so well in terms of positioning, making sure they couldn't really put themselves out of in a bad spot. Like you look at every single fight that GS had, except for the first fight which they had 2-0 down. I think GS just did really well in every single remaining of the fights. You can see them just putting themselves in the right position. Even with the wild prison, there was not much that the bottom could have done. You can see them just going around the wall prison, or even just blasting him up, and then the moment he goes down, Omen is the second one to go down. Even sometimes it's vice versa, right? If the Omen goes down, all you're left with is the bottom to kind of soak up damage, and once those two go down, there's really not much that any of the rest could do. Even Violet with insane amount of damage, she's not that late into the game yet. Valheim just popped up way earlier, and this time around we're gonna see the Valheim getting picked up. I did speak about Liliana getting overlooked in the first game, and this time around we're gonna see her getting picked up on the side of IGP Girls to follow up with the Vera's pick. So that's Vera's, Liliana, and Valheim getting picked up. It looks like we're gonna see GS kind of ban out the Pina. But yeah, remember the games are all a best of 3. So I can understand why they want to ban out the Pena, or in this case Pura, depending on how comfortable you are calling her. I'm just gonna stick Pena because I just prefer that name. I think IGP Girls are really comfortable in her. You can see in the previous game, they were constantly just using her to sustain the fight, especially the healing light, as well as the forest sentry to kind of provide a little bit of a CC in those team fights. But towards the late game, the heal just was something that was really insane. So I think GP said, you know what, if we're not gonna pick up the Pena in this game, let's just not give it over to IGP Girls. Let's just take it away from them. It's irritating to deal with. We don't want to do with the forest sentry. We don't want to have that sustain coming up from the side of GP, or rather in this case IGP Girls. So it looks like they're gonna ban it out. They also pick up the Violet, which looks like a reverse. So we can see a very reverse kind of game coming up from both sides. Although a lot of the heroes getting banned out, we do see oh, there's Kringna ban. So once again, if you look at GS, they are banning a lot of assassins, a lot of heroes that have insane amount of CCs and insane amount of damage. So Kringna as well as Murat getting banned out, those two assassins. We can see Penas was Alistair getting banned out. So pesky CCs, imprisonment, they don't really want to do with that. We're gonna see the side of GS maybe play a little bit greedy. If they do pick up the Joker, that's going to do really well for us as well. He's able to keep the distance while having a decent amount of damage. The question is, do IGP Girls, or rather do the Girls from IGP Girl have something to do with the Vera? Because as of now, they don't really have something to do with the Vera. Like, yes, you have a Valheim, you have a Liliana, you have a Vera's, but there's no one that can kind of go in, and I think Zil will do a pretty decent job. So they pick up the Zil, which should be able to deal with the Vera. While I don't know, I think the Vera pickup is just something that poses a very big question mark to the side of IGP Go, and I haven't seen something that still is a very hard counter. Yes, they have the Alice getting picked up, but what do you have to dive into them? Because the moment Vera drops those bats, it's gonna hurt a ton. So it looks like they're gonna pick up the Alice just to provide a little bit of sustain and CC in the game. not too sure how they want to do that lane composition. The previous game, they put the Violet down onto the bot lane. They had her clear up the middle lane in the first wave, and then just go to the bot lane to kind of sustain from there. So I'm not sure if they want to put the Valheim there. I mean, they will have to put the Valheim there, so that's not really much of a change, or rather not much of a choice they have. Although, you know, when it comes to AoV, you never know what they're gonna do. So looks like we're gonna have GS pick up the last hero for themselves. So we do see a Fennec getting banned out from the side of IGP Girl as well. If you look over the side of IGP Girl, they're banning a lot of these heroes that have either very high movement in terms of mobility, either that, or they just have a really good way of just dodging a lot of the skills that Veras have. So it looks like they want to go up in the face of GS, where but they do have Lena and Valheim, so that is the burst component that IGP Girl have, as compared to the previous game where they only had that Violet to really provide the damage. They did have the Alice as well, so I think that Alice is something that they're really comfortable with. Although GS now looking to pick up a frontliner to kind of accompany Ori, just to make sure that, you know, they have enough tankers to kind of soak up the damage. I think Tara does well. You know, Tara, she does well in the 1v1. She's insane amount of sustain with her ultimate. You know, she can heal up all the damage she can soaked up. Wouldn't cover her RM as well, so looks like they are choosing a lot of all these heroes that are able to soak up damage, and at the same time, in their kit, still do a bit of appealing for the lineup. So GS, they're looking really good. They do pick up the RM instead of the Tara. I think either way, no complaints for me. Both would have worked really well. The Tara does have the ultimate to provide the sustain, whereas if you picked up the RM, you just have a lot of CC. So I think both sides pretty well, no complaints. So that is gonna be your lineup. We're gonna have the Veras, Valheim, Alice, Zil, as well as the Liliana getting picked up on the side of the IGP Girl. Whereas on the side of GS, they're gonna go to Yemnev, the Vera, Joker. Looks like they're gonna pick up the Elise as well as the Aram.
Welcome to Arena of Valor. Get ready. Minions will be deployed in 5 seconds. Prepare to engage.
So remember, this is a best of 3 series. And it looks like we're gonna be seeing GS onto the red side while IGP Girl playing on the blue. So Alice dropping that sunshine as well, just to make sure that GS don't contest. They do have the Aram, which is always very. I think Aram is one of those heroes which I hate to go up a lane. Like early game, she's really insane. There's not much that you can do to her. Like I said, she can just heal up. She has insane amount of lifesteal as well, so there's really not much that you can kind of do to her. And she does have that Lion Tamer as well, so that's decent amount of damage. There we go. See, that's the damage that I'm talking about. One more hit and Young could have just gone down. Gonna force the regen coming up from the top side. Oh, and that's gonna be a first blood. Mel once again dropping that. You're gonna see once again IGP getting another kill down into the bottom lane. That is gonna be Ori dropping And they do want to put a little bit of sustain. Both the Joker and Violet getting bot lane, so a little bit of a long range damage coming out from GS. Although IGP Girl, they have a decent lane composition as well. Lindan almost going down. And Violet nearly dropping. Alice is going to drop one more hit. And that's going to open up the Abyssal Dragon. Looks like it's going to be a no contest. I don't think Ori can do much over here. Mid lane though, Vera has to be careful. Young trying to go for the gank. And just gonna run straight into Mel. And look at that, Young just taking up so much damage. She's not even touching Mel. And Young trying her best to actually push Lilith back. Or rather Mel back. She will be able to do so. And like I said, Aram is just a nightmare to deal with in the laning phase. Not much that they can really do to her, although we do see a little bit of engagement coming in. Shin 3K has to be careful about positioning, and here comes Violet as well. That's going to be one kill for the side of GS. They might go for more. Aram just soaking up so much damage for the side of GS, while that Violet does that damage from the backline. That's going to be clearing up the wave on the top side. Meanwhile, mid lane getting some action of their own. Alice drops a Sunshine. Tries to clear that wave. Making sure tower doesn't take too much of a damage. I gotta say, Laya has been, having a pretty comfortable lane thus far. I know they're trying to put as much farm onto the Violet, hence why she picked up the jungle items. But you can see they're trying to make that Violet the hyper carry towards the late game. So you do see a little bit of engagement coming up. Yepnef with the hands right there, but not enough. And that's going to be Zeal coming in just to pick up the tank. This is the second time that we do see Yepnef going down right now. But Mel in the top lane once again applying pressure. He's going in for the kill. The ultimate coming up as well. Look at Young dropping dangerously low, half HP right under the tower. And that is not where you want to be. But Mel does get out of life. And that lifesteal is just going to heal herself right back up. Just look at Mel. She's hitting vision and she's already healed up to half HP. And if she wants to go for Young, I'm sure that she can. But she does want to pick up that vision though. Zeal coming up in the top lane though. I don't think she's ready for this. That's gonna be a good gank coming up for IGP, but can they keep this momentum up? Because if you look at the net worth though, they are still a little bit ahead. Vera getting ganked down the middle. IGP Girl definitely doing a lot better this game, especially with the rotations. You can see Zeal just trying to make a lot of plays, going from mid, going to top. He's 3-1-0. She's 3-1-0, and she's definitely doing a really good job this game. Going up the top lane, getting the kill to Aram, going to the mid lane, clearing those wave, and now they're picking up the Abyssal Dragon. And looks like it's gonna be a no contest. I don't think there's any way they can pick that up. Liliana gonna secure that as well. Didn't really need the smite to come in. Although we do see Violet as well as Aram pushing up onto top. Mel and Lindan. You see her coming down, but tower first before they pick up the fight, and they are on the chase. That last powers might be able to do the last trick. Yes, the stun comes in, and that uncaged beast, that last hit coming in, or rather that last pounce, just picks her up. And another fight coming in. Shin tries to go in for the last stun. Alice with the Sunshine gets a triple stun, but Mel dropping almost to a quarter of HP. Lindan here comes up with the burst damage, and how is Mel still alive? That's the Aram that I'm talking about, and Vera will join the fight as well. Those bats will drop, and they might be able to kick up 2 more kills. Tries to dive a little bit more. Mel taking a lot of damage from the tower, and Marshmallow is coming in. The Valheim can clear things up right now. She tries to go for the pursuit, but they will only be able to pick up the Aram just because she soaked up too much damage from the tower shot. I'm lost for words. I mean, these two teams definitely are going head to head. And oh, Young managed to pick up Vera just in time before she kind of overstayed. Young kind of punished her for that. But in the meantime, you know, we do see Laya doing a little bit of that split push in the bot lane, trying to, you know, catch up in terms of form rest of teammates. It's pretty neck to neck, I would say, from both teams. However, it is objective. The name of the game for GS. They pick up both the top and the bottom tower. Liliana trying to make some plays right here. They try to dive right beneath the tower. Have to make sure they don't take up too much of their arm. Trying to keep up alive those lives too, but it's not enough. Liliana with the burst. And if they take this tower down, Laya has to run back. Joker against the 1v3. No good of a situation for her right there. And they do manage to take the blue buff as well. So more objective for the side of GS, although they do manage to pick up a stray kill onto Alice. I think a little bit of miscom there, or maybe a little bit of mispositioning, I would say. And Young just gonna be clearing up that top turret. Violet just gonna make sure that that doesn't happen. Meantime, good objective taking coming in. Young dropping dangerously low. We do see Young always, you know, on that borderline, trying to buy the space for team, and I mean, consider it bot, man. Like, look, because of that, GS, they pulled 3 men to the top lane. They didn't really get much of that. They failed to capitalize. They didn't manage to pick Young. And on top of it, Valheim managed to pick up the Abyssal Dragon. So that is another 2k in the favor for the side of IGP Girl. Although, even with a 7-5, even with the Abyssal Dragon, they are not too far ahead. I mean, GP, because of those 2 towers getting taken up, they are still just behind. And now they want to force this mid-tower fight. Meow with the ultimate, the RM sacrificing herself, and she just manages to stay alive, not for long, but Young will go down. It's going to be a 4v4. Joker dangerously low, does manage to avoid that last hit. Alice trying to keep a team alive with that sunshine. But look at that Yamnev coming in. Oh, the burst. They do manage to pick up the Liliana. And looks like Marshmallow might drop down as well. The Valheim somehow staying up alive, and they can go for one more if they want to. I don't think Liliana will be able to defend by herself. Vera with the stun, and they might be able to pick up another kill. Look at the burst damage come from the Vera. Those bats coming out. And they will definitely be able... Oh no, I thought they would have stayed for one more hit, but looks like they want to make sure safety first. They managed to win that team fight, didn't really have to put themselves in a bad position, and Leia is starting to pop off. But more importantly, look at Violet. 5-0 and 3. Linda is starting to look really scary right now. 6.9k net worth. And even for the Valheim, which has had a decent game so far, I mean 2-0-5, still behind some net worth. And Zio caught in a really bad spot, however does manage to pick up 1 kill before he goes down. But look at that, they're gonna call right on top of Young. Does manage to use Spring to get out of the way. And that's gonna be Joker laying down the hurt, although not too much of a loss on both sides. I mean, one hero on both ends, or rather not, the two didn't really go down. And we are starting to see GS having some sort of a fight back, although it is, I mean look at that, it's just a 1k goal lead between both sides. It's not really too much. And GS are starting to claw their way back into the game. IGP, they're trying to go for the Abyssal Dragon. Has to be careful. Has cleared this on up really quickly. RM spawning out Young as well.
A red team tower has been destroyed.
It looks like that, like they're gonna have a clash down in the middle lane. Joker doing a really good job at keeping them out of space. Alice has to make sure it doesn't go. And look at that, Young coming in from the back. Does get a stun down. But look at that, the Violet, the burst comes in. And RM just a stun. Gao coming in with Sunshine. Looks like those uncaged beasts are coming out. The third one getting the stun right on in. But Liana doing so much in the front line. And look at Lemnev. They left Ori alone for too long. And she's doing the job. Violet, how long can she keep alive? The hyper carry comes in. One more hit. And she might be able to pick up the kill onto Liana. What a turn of events right there. For a moment, GS looked like they won the back foot. They lost 3 members now, and Marshmallow has to be careful. Valheim staying dangerously close. And Liana comes up just in time to keep that tower alive. I mean, I did not expect the Violet to come in right there, but they do want to get the pool coming in as well. They might be able to pick up one more kill, but Lindan down to half HP. Liana on the chase. Good roll as well, just to go behind the kill, and they managed to pick her up as well. They're focusing on the wrong target there, but the Zeal will clean that Violet up. But what a play that was, coming in from Lindan just to pick up more kills and to kick and rather to kind of just juke her way out of it. I mean, the roll behind the tower, or rather around the wall, just picked up the Liana right there. And it's gonna be a 4v5. Zeal not even by the side, and look at that, those bats will come out. Young in the bad spot once again, getting caught up in the middle of 3 heroes. Joker will join the fight. GS, they want to make the game ending push right now down in the middle. They're not even going for objectives. They don't even need the Dark Slayer. They want to end the game right here, and it might be game. IGP, can they hold it for one more fight? No, they can't, and it is GS. They will pick up game 2. That is it. It's GG. Congratulations to GS. They will proceed into the next round. I mean, what a game that was for GS. Clinical throughout. Once again, on the back foot in the early game, but coming back in the mid. And I gotta give that MVP to Linda. The game recognizes it as well. I mean, if you look at the stats across the board, the most damage done, the most amount of team kills, and on top of it, those jukes coming in the jungle just to pick up, just to show that the reason why she's one of the players to look out for in the upcoming matches. You saw her just rolling out of the position, making sure that the Liana doesn't get too close, and this is the range that Violet always provides. This is the reason why throughout the AoV history, she's still one of the heroes to be looking out for. And coming into this meta, I think we will see a lot of players try to pick up that Violet and play the way Lindan does, or they will well played to her as well to the rest of GS. They will be proceeding into the next round. Unfortunately for IGP Girl, this is the end of the journey. But I mean, you gotta say, end of the day, that was a tough fight. Like, I don't think IGP Girl were too prepared for that. GS just did really well throughout the entirety of the fight, and even towards the later stage, you saw even when IGP Girl were trying to pick up the Abyssal, they picked up 2 Abyssal Dragons, right? They picked up 2 towers. But even with those objectives getting taken, they were not too far ahead in terms of farm as compared to GS, who were doing really well with managing those waves, making sure that, you know, Laya, who's playing the Joker, is constantly the bot lane, getting a free farm, and you can't really fault IGP Girl too much. It was just GS playing one heck of game. You can see the Zeal trying to make plays. I mean, Shin 3K, she was in the mid. She got a couple of kills, went to top, ganked out the Aram. And I think in general, it wasn't really a draft issue. I think it's just the way that GS constantly can hold on to the game, make sure that their opponents don't get too far ahead, and when the time is right, they go for the push. Look at that. I mean, they are so confident in the later stage of that game itself that they didn't really have to go for the top and bottom lane. They just want to end down mid. They know that, you know, Valheim is still low on HP. He has to go back to Q. There wasn't really much that Young could have done as well. So well played to GS. They pick up the first 2-0 of the game. They will proceed into the next round, which they will be playing against the winners of QS family and NYC family, or NYC team, which is happening right now. We'll try to get the score up for you. But next up, we have Flamingo up against Black Cat. So we'll go for a short little break, but when we are back, we'll bring you the next game, which will be Flamingo Black Cats. I'll see you right after this.